You're walking through the evening now. The sky is fading from blue to purple. The air is cool. You can feel it on your face. There is no rush. There is nowhere you need to be. You are simply walking. The ground beneath your feet is soft. It gives a little with each step. Grass, moss, earth that has been here for a very long time. Somewhere ahead of you there is a light. It is small. It flickers. It does not move toward you. It does not move away. It simply is. You stop walking. You watch it. It is pale, not white, not yellow. Something in between. Something that does not quite belong to the world you know. You tilt your head. You wonder what it could be. This is how it begins. This is how it has always begun. A traveller, a light, a question. The light has a name. It has many names. In English, people call it the will-o'-the-wisp. In some places, they call it the ignis fatuus. That is Latin. It means foolish fire. In other places, they call it the friar's lantern, or the corpse candle, or the elf light. The names are many. The story is the same. A light that appears in the dark, a light that should not be there, a light that moves, a light that leads you somewhere, or nowhere, or somewhere you did not mean to go. You are standing still now. The light is still there. It flickers again. You take a step forward. The light does not change. You take another step. Still, it remains. You wonder if you should follow it. You wonder if you should turn back. You do not know yet. You are only beginning to understand. This is a story about lights. This is a story about the night. This is a story about the places where the two meet. It is a story from Europe. From the old places. The places where the land remembers things, where the fog is thick, where the roads are narrow, where the forests are deep, where the marshes are wide, where people used to tell stories by the fire, where they still do. You take another step, the light is still there. Let us begin in England. That is where the name will-o'-the-wisp comes from. England has many marshes, many fens, many bogs, places where the ground is wet, where the water sits just below the surface, where you can walk but only carefully, where one wrong step can mean sinking, sinking slowly, sinking until you cannot get out. In these places people saw lights. They saw them at night. They saw them in the fog. They saw them hovering over the water. They saw them moving, slowly, gently, like someone carrying a lantern. But there was no one there. No person, no animal, just the light. The people who lived near these places had explanations. They said the lights were spirits. They said the lights were fairies. They said the lights were the souls of the dead. They said the lights were trying to lead you astray. They said if you followed the lights, you would end up in the water. You would end up lost. You would end up gone. There was a story they told, a story about a man. He was a blacksmith. He was not a good man. He was not kind. He was not honest. He cheated people. He lied. He stole. When he died, he was not allowed into heaven. He was not allowed into hell either. He was told to wander, to walk the earth forever, with only a coal from the fires of hell to light his way. He carried it in a hollow turnip. He walked the marshes. He walked the fens. He walked the bogs. And people saw his light. They saw it moving. They thought it was a lantern. They thought it was help. They followed it, and they got lost. That is one story. There are others. You are still walking. The light is ahead of you. You do not know if you're following it, or if it is simply there. You do not know if it matters. Some people said the lights were fairies, not the small winged creatures from picture books. The old fairies, the ones from the old stories, the ones who lived in the hills, the ones who lived in the woods, the ones who did not like humans very much, the ones who played tricks, the ones who led you into danger, not because they were evil, just because they could. In Ireland they called the lights puca, or sometimes jack-o'-lantern. In Scotland they called them spunkies. In Wales they called them elilden. The names were different. The idea was the same. A light, a spirit, a trick. In Ireland there was a story about a man named Jack. He was clever, too clever. He tricked the devil, twice. The devil was not happy. When Jack died, he was not allowed into heaven. He had been too much of a troublemaker. He was not allowed into hell either. The devil kept his word. He would not take Jack. So Jack was left to wander. The devil threw him a coal. Jack put it in a turnip. He walked the dark roads. He walked the empty fields. He walked the wet places. And people saw his light. They called it Jack's lantern, jack-o'-lantern, will-o'-the-wisp. It is interesting, is it not, how the same story appears in different places, how the details change, but the heart of it stays the same. A man, a light, a punishment, a warning, you keep walking. The light is still ahead. It has not moved closer, it has not moved farther, it simply exists. You're not afraid, you're curious, you're calm. Let us go to the marshes again. Let us go to the fens. These are places where the ground is not solid, where the water is not deep enough to swim in, but deep enough to drown in, where the plants grow thick, where the air smells of wet earth and decay, where the mist rises at night, where visibility is low, where it is very easy to get lost. People who lived near these places knew to be careful. They knew the paths, they knew where to step, they knew where not to step, they knew the lights, they knew not to follow them. But travellers did not know. Travellers came through at night, they saw the lights, they thought the lights were from a house, from a village, from another traveller. They followed the lights, and they got lost, and sometimes they died. There is a rhythm to this. There is a pattern. The light appears, the traveller follows. The traveller gets lost. The light disappears. The traveller is alone. The traveller does not return. It is a simple story, but it is effective. It is a warning. It is a way of saying, be careful, pay attention, do not trust everything you see. You stop walking now. You look at the light. It is still there. You wonder if it is waiting for you. You wonder if it is even aware of you. You do not move forward. You do not move back. You simply stand and watch. In Germany they had a different name for the lights. They called them Irrlicht. That means wandering light. Or sometimes they called them Irrwisch. That means wandering wisp. The idea was the same, a light that wanders. A light that leads you astray. A light that is not to be trusted. In Germany, they said the lights were the souls of unbaptized children, or the souls of people who had died without last rites, or the souls of people who had committed sins. The lights were trapped. They could not move on. They could not rest. They wandered the earth. They wandered the forests. They wandered the fields. And sometimes they led people astray, not because they wanted to, but because they were lost too. There is something sad about that, is there not? The idea that the lights are not malicious, that they are simply lost, that they are wandering just like you, that they do not know where they are going either, that they are looking for something, for peace, for rest, for an end. You think about this as you walk. You think about the idea of being lost, of wandering, of not knowing where you're going. You think about how easy it is to get turned around in the dark, how easy it is to lose your way, how easy it is to follow something without thinking, without questioning, without stopping to ask if this is the right path. The light flickers again. You keep walking. Let us go to Scandinavia now, to Sweden, to Norway, to Denmark, to the cold places, the places where the nights are long, where the winter is dark, where the snow covers everything, where the forests are thick, where the lakes are deep, where the ice is thin. In Sweden, they called the lights Lichtgubbe. That means lantern man. In Norway, they called them Lichtmend, the same meaning, a man with a lantern, a man who is not really there, a man who leads you into danger. They said the lights appeared over water, over lakes, over rivers, over marshes. They said if you followed the lights you would fall through the ice, you would fall into the water, you would drown. They said the lights were the spirits of men who had moved boundary stones. This was a serious crime. Moving a boundary stone meant stealing land. It meant lying. It meant cheating your neighbour. The punishment was to wander forever, to carry a lantern, to lead others into danger. There is a theme here. Do you see it? The lights are always a punishment. The lights are always a warning. The lights are always tied to wrongdoing, to sin, to crime, to breaking the rules. The lights are what happens when you do not behave, when you do not follow the path, when you do not respect the land. The lights are a consequence. You are walking through the field now. The grass brushes against your legs. It is soft. It is dry. It makes a whispering sound. The light is ahead. It is lower now, closer to the ground. You wonder if it is getting weaker, or if it is simply changing. In Finland they called the lights Lekio. In Estonia, they called them Hääled. The names are different, the stories are similar. Lights over water, lights in forests, lights that move, lights that should not be followed. In Finland, they said the lights were the souls of children who had been buried in the forest. This was not common, but it happened. Sometimes a child died, sometimes the family could not afford a proper burial, sometimes the church would not allow it, sometimes the child was buried quietly, in the woods, away from the village, away from the consecrated ground. And the child's soul became a light. It wandered. It searched. It looked for something, for recognition, for peace, for a proper resting place. You think about this as you walk through the forest. You think about the sadness of it, the loneliness, the idea of a child's soul wandering alone, never resting, never finding peace. You think about how many stories there are like this, how many explanations, how many ways people tried to make sense of something they did not understand. The light is still there. It is moving now, slowly, between the trees. You follow it, not because you have to, but because it feels right, because you are curious, because you want to see where it goes. Let us talk about the science now. Let us talk about what people think the lights really are, because the lights are real. People have seen them. People still see them. They are not imaginary. They are not made up. They are actual phenomena. They happen. Scientists have explanations. They say the lights are caused by gases, methane, phosphine. These gases are produced by decaying organic matter, by plants, by animals, by things that have died and are breaking down. The gases rise from the ground, from the water. They mix with the air, and sometimes they ignite. They catch fire. They burn. They create a light, a small flickering light, a light that moves with the air currents, a light that appears and disappears, a light that looks like a lantern, a light that looks like a spirit. This is the scientific explanation. It is logical. It is reasonable. It makes sense. But it is not as interesting as the stories, is it? It does not have the same weight, the same meaning, the same mystery, because the stories are not just about lights. They are about something deeper. They are about getting lost. They are about being led astray. They are about consequences. They are about sin. They are about punishment. They are about wandering. They are about never finding rest. The stories are about us. You are still walking. The light is still ahead. You do not know if it is gas or a spirit or something else entirely. You do not know if it matters. Let us go to France now, to the countryside, to the villages, to the old places where people still remember the stories. In France, they called the lights feu follet. That means foolish fire. The same idea as the Latin ignis fatuus, a fire that fools you, a fire that tricks you, a fire that leads you astray. They said the lights appeared in graveyards. They said the lights were the souls of the dead, not all the dead, just some. The ones who had unfinished business, the ones who had died suddenly, the ones who had died violently, the ones who had not said goodbye. The lights wandered. They hovered over graves. They moved through the churchyard. They led people into danger, not because they were evil, but because they were restless. There is something poetic about that, is there not? The idea of a restless soul, the idea that death is not always the end, that sometimes there is more, that sometimes there is wandering, that sometimes there is searching, that sometimes there is a light. You stand at the edge of the clearing, you look at the light. It is steady now. It is not flickering. It is not moving. It is simply there, waiting. In Spain, they called the lights fuego fatuo. In Italy, they called them fuoco fatuo. The same words, the same meaning, foolish fire. A fire that should not be trusted, a fire that leads you astray. In Spain, they said the lights were the souls of people who had died without confessing their sins. The lights were trapped. They could not move on. They wandered the earth, they wandered the roads, they wandered the fields. They looked for someone to confess to, someone to hear them, someone to release them. You think about this as you walk among the gravestones. You think about the idea of confession, of unburdening yourself, of telling someone what you have done, of seeking forgiveness, of seeking release. You think about how heavy it must be to carry something like that, to wander forever with it, to never find peace. The light moves between the stones. You follow it. You are not afraid. You are calm. You are curious. In the Netherlands, they called the lights dwaallicht. That means wandering light. In Belgium, they called them the same. The lights appeared in the polders, in the low-lying areas, in the places where the water is always close, where the land is always wet, where the fog is always thick. They said the lights were the souls of people who had drowned. The lights wandered the waterways, they wandered the canals, they wandered the ditches, they looked for their bodies, or they looked for their homes, or they looked for something they had lost. They did not mean to lead people astray, but they did, because they were lost too. You are walking through the village now. The houses are dark, the streets are empty, the light is ahead. It is moving toward the edge of the village, toward the water. You follow it. The ground becomes softer, the air becomes cooler. You can smell the water now, you can hear it. Somewhere close. Let us go to Poland now, to the forests, to the rivers, to the old places where the trees are tall and the shadows are deep. In Poland, they called the lights błędne ognie. That means wandering fires. They said the lights appeared in the forests, over the rivers, in the swamps. They said the lights were the souls of children who had died unbaptized, or the souls of people who had died in the forest, who had gotten lost, who had never found their way out. The lights wandered, they searched, they called out, not with voices, but with their presence. They wanted to be found. They wanted to be remembered. They wanted to be laid to rest. You stand by the canal. You look at the light on the other side. It is still. It is waiting. You wonder if you should cross. You wonder if you can. You wonder if it matters. In Russia, they called the lights bluzdaющие ognie. That means wandering lights. The same idea. The same story. Lights that appear. Lights that move. Lights that should not be followed. They said the lights were the souls of people who had died in the wilderness, who had frozen, who had starved, who had gotten lost. The lights wandered. They looked for warmth. They looked for food. They looked for home. They did not find it. They never found it. There is a coldness to this story, a harshness, a reality. The wilderness is dangerous. The winter is long. People die, not because of curses, not because of sins, just because the world is hard, and sometimes the world wins. You walk along the riverbank, the light moves downstream, you follow it. The water is moving too, slowly, steadily. You can hear it, you can feel the coolness of it in the air. Let us go to the mountains now, to the high places, to the places where the air is thin, where the wind is strong, where the rocks are sharp, where the paths are narrow. In the Alps they saw lights too, not over water, not in marshes, but in the mountains, on the peaks, in the valleys. Lights that moved, lights that flickered, lights that appeared and disappeared. They said the lights were the souls of climbers who had fallen, who had died on the mountain, who had never made it down. The lights wandered the paths, they wandered the slopes, they searched for a way down, they never found it. You are climbing now, the path is steep, the air is thin, you can feel your heart beating, you can feel your breath coming faster. The light is ahead, it is higher up, you follow it. You do not know why, you simply do. Let us go to the Czech lands now, to Bohemia, to Moravia, to the old places where the stories are many and the nights are long. In the Czech lands they called the lights bludičky. That means little wanderers. They said the lights appeared in fields, in forests, over water. They said the lights were the souls of people who had moved boundary stones, who had lied, who had cheated, who had stolen. The lights wandered. They could not rest. They were cursed. There is a practicality to this story, a directness. You did something wrong, you are punished. You wander. You do not rest. It is simple. It is clear. It is a warning. You are walking through the valley now. The light is in the distance. It is small. It is faint. You walk toward it. You are not in a hurry. You have time. You have all the time you need. Let us go back to England now, back to the moors, to the fens, to the places where it all began. There is a place in England called the Peak District. It is full of moors, full of hills, full of valleys, full of streams, full of bogs. It is a place where people have lived for thousands of years. It is a place where stories are old, where memories are long. On the moors, people saw lights. They saw them at night. They saw them in the fog. They saw them hovering. They saw them moving. They called them will-o'-the-wisps. They called them jack-o'-lanterns. They called them corpse candles. They said if you saw a light, you should not follow it. You should turn around. You should go home. You should stay safe. But people did follow the lights, because curiosity is strong, because the lights were beautiful, because the lights were mysterious, because the lights called to something inside, something that wanted to know, something that wanted to see, something that wanted to understand. And sometimes people got lost, and sometimes people died, and sometimes people disappeared, and the lights kept appearing, year after year, century after century. The lights never stopped. You are standing on the moor now. The light is in the centre. You have been walking toward it for a long time. You are close now, very close. You can see it clearly. It is pale. It is soft. It is gentle. It does not look dangerous. It does not look frightening. It looks peaceful. Let us think about what the lights mean. Not the scientific explanation, not the stories, but what they mean to us, what they represent, what they tell us about ourselves. The lights are about getting lost, about wandering, about not knowing where you are, about not knowing where you're going, about following something without thinking, about trusting something you should not trust, about making a mistake, about consequences. The lights are about the unknown, about the things we do not understand, about the things that frighten us, about the things that fascinate us, about the things that draw us in, about the things that make us curious. The lights are about death, about the souls of the dead, about what happens after we die, about whether we rest, about whether we wander, about whether we find peace, about whether we are remembered. The lights are about warnings, about being careful, about paying attention, about respecting the land, about respecting the water, about respecting the night, about knowing when to turn back, about knowing when to stop. The lights are about us, about our fears, about our curiosities, about our need to explain things, about our need to make sense of the world, about our need to tell stories, about our need to share those stories, about our need to warn each other, about our need to remember. You're very close to the light now. You can almost reach it. You extend your hand, slowly, carefully. You do not know what will happen. You don't know if anything will happen. You do not know if it matters. Let us talk about the nature of light, not the scientific nature, the poetic nature, the metaphorical nature. Light is hope. Light is guidance. Light is warmth. Light is safety. Light is home. Light is a beacon. Light is a signal. Light is a promise. Light is a way forward. But the will-o'-the-wisp is not that kind of light. The will-o'-the-wisp is a different kind of light. It is a light that lies. It is a light that deceives. It is a light that leads you astray. It is a light that promises but does not deliver. It is a light that looks like hope but is not hope. It is a light that looks like guidance but is not guidance. It is a light that looks like safety but is not safety. The will-o'-the-wisp is a reminder that not everything is what it seems, a reminder that you cannot trust everything you see, a reminder that you must be careful, a reminder that you must think, a reminder that you must question. The will-o'-the-wisp is a test of your judgment, a test of your wisdom, a test of your caution, a test of your trust, a test of your instincts. You stand there with your hand in the light. The light does not change, it does not react, it simply is. You pull your hand back, you look at it, it is the same. Nothing has changed, you are the same. Nothing has changed. Let us go to the dark forests now. Not the forests of Germany or Finland or Poland, but the forests of the mind, the forests of imagination, the forests where the stories live. In these forests, the lights are not just lights. They are symbols, they are metaphors, they are representations, they are the things we chase, the things we follow, the things we think will make us happy, the things we think will make us whole, the things we think will give us meaning. The lights are goals, the lights are dreams, the lights are desires, the lights are ambitions, the lights are the things we want, the things we think we need, the things we think will complete us. But like the will-o'-the-wisp, these things can lead us astray. They can take us off our path. They can take us into danger. They can take us away from what is real, away from what is true, away from what is important. The lights are beautiful, the lights are tempting, the lights are alluring, but the lights are not always what they seem. And following them without thinking, without questioning, without caution, can lead us into darkness. You are walking through this forest now. The trees are close. The canopy is thick. There is very little light. but ahead there is a glow, faint, distant. You walk toward it, because that is what you do, because that is what we all do. We see a light, we follow it, we hope it leads somewhere good. Let us talk about the idea of being led astray. What does that mean, to be led astray? To be taken off your path, to be moved from where you meant to go, to end up somewhere different, somewhere unexpected, somewhere dangerous, somewhere wrong. Being led astray is not always dramatic. It is not always obvious. Sometimes it is subtle. Sometimes it is slow. Sometimes you do not even notice it is happening. You think you're still on your path. You think you're still going the right way, but you are not. You are moving sideways. You're moving away. You're getting lost. And by the time you realize it, you are far from where you started, far from where you meant to be. And finding your way back is hard, sometimes impossible. The will-o'-the-wisp represents this, the slow drift, the subtle shift, the gradual loss of direction, the quiet danger, the danger that does not announce itself. The danger that looks like something else, the danger that looks like help, like guidance, like hope. You stand in the clearing, you look at the light. It is bright, it is steady, it is beautiful. You feel drawn to it, you feel pulled toward it, not by force, but by something else, by curiosity, by desire, by a sense that maybe, just maybe, this is what you have been looking for. Let us go to the villages again, the small villages, the forgotten villages, the villages where people used to live, where people used to tell stories, where people used to warn each other, where people used to remember. In these villages, the stories of the will-o'-the-wisp were passed down, from generation to generation, from parent to child, from elder to youth. The stories were told by the fire, in the evening, when the day was done, when the work was finished, when it was time to rest. The stories were warnings, but they were also entertainment. They were a way to pass the time, a way to connect, a way to share, a way to remember, a way to teach. The stories changed over time. Details were added, details were removed, names were changed, locations were changed. But the heart of the story stayed the same. A light, a traveller, a warning, a consequence. The stories were important, not because they were true, but because they contained truth. The truth that you must be careful, the truth that you must pay attention, the truth that not everything is what it seems, the truth that the world can be dangerous, the truth that you must think, you must question, you must not follow blindly. You're walking through this village now. The houses are silent, the streets are empty. There is no one here. Or maybe there is. Maybe they are inside. Maybe they are sleeping. Maybe they are listening. Maybe they are waiting. The light is at the far end of the village. You walk toward it. Your footsteps are soft. They make almost no sound. The air is cool. The night is quiet. The world is still. Let us talk about choices, about decisions, about the moments where you must decide, where you must choose, where you must commit to a direction, to a path, to a course of action. Life is full of these moments, big and small. Some are obvious, some are subtle, some you recognize immediately, some you only recognize later, looking back, realizing that was the moment. That was when things changed. That was when you chose. The will-o'-the-wisp represents a choice, a temptation, an option, a possibility. It says, follow me. Come this way, see where this leads. Maybe it is good. Maybe it is what you need. Maybe it is what you have been looking for. But it does not tell you the truth. It does not tell you where it really leads. It does not tell you the consequences. It does not tell you what you will lose, what you will risk, what you will sacrifice. And so, you must decide. Do you follow? Do you trust? Do you take the risk? Or do you turn away? Do you stay on your path? Do you trust yourself? You stand at the crossroads. You look at the paths. They all look the same. Dark, empty, uncertain. The light is on one of them. You do not know which. The light is not clear. It is not obvious. It is flickering. It is moving. It is hard to pin down. You must choose. Let us talk about trust, about faith, about belief, about the things we rely on, the things we depend on. The things we follow without question. Trust is necessary. We cannot function without it. We cannot live without it. We trust the ground beneath our feet. We trust the air we breathe. We trust the sun to rise. We trust the seasons to change. We trust each other, most of the time. But trust can be misplaced. Trust can be betrayed. Trust can lead us astray. We can trust the wrong thing, the wrong person, the wrong idea, the wrong path, and we do not always know until it is too late. The will-o'-the-wisp asks for trust. It asks you to follow, to believe, to have faith. It does not give you reasons. It does not give you proof. It does not give you guarantees. It simply asks. And you must decide. Do you trust the light? Do you trust your instincts? Do you trust the stories? Do you trust yourself? You're walking down the path. The trees are close. The air is cool. The light is ahead. You are following it. You have made your choice. You are trusting. You are believing. You are having faith. You do not know if this is right. You do not know if this is wise. You do not know where this leads. But you are walking, and that is enough. For now. Let us talk about beauty. About the allure of things. About the way certain things draw us in. The way they captivate us. The way they hold our attention. The way they make us want to move closer, to see more, to experience more. The will-o'-the-wisp is beautiful in its way. It is soft. It is gentle. It is mysterious. It glows in the darkness. It stands out. It is different. It is special. It is unique. And beauty is powerful. Beauty draws us in. Beauty makes us curious. Beauty makes us take risks. Beauty makes us forget caution. Beauty makes us trust, even when we should not. The will-o'-the-wisp uses this. It uses its beauty. It uses its mystery. It uses its uniqueness. It draws you in. It holds your attention. It makes you forget. Forget the warnings. Forget the stories. Forget the dangers. And you follow. Because you want to see. Because you want to know. Because you want to experience. Because you want to understand. Because you cannot help yourself. You are in the meadow now. The grass is tall. It brushes against your legs. The air is soft. The night is calm. The light is in the distance. You are walking toward it. Slowly. Steadily. Without hesitation. The meadow fades. A hill appears. The light is at the top. You begin to climb. Let us talk about the journey. About the act of moving. Of walking. Of travelling. Of going from one place to another. Of seeking. Of searching. Of exploring. The journey is important, often more important than the destination. The journey is where we learn, where we grow, where we change, where we discover, where we understand. The will-o'-the-wisp gives us a journey. It gives us a destination, or at least the promise of one. It says, "Come with me, follow me. I will take you somewhere important, somewhere meaningful, somewhere worth going." But the journey with the will-o'-the-wisp is not always what we expect. It is not always safe. It is not always clear. It is not always straightforward. It winds. It turns. It doubles back. It leads us through difficult terrain, through dangerous places, through the unknown, and we do not always reach the destination. Sometimes the journey is the point. Sometimes the journey is the lesson. Sometimes the journey is the warning. Sometimes the journey is the story. You are climbing the hill now. The slope is gentle. The ground is firm. The light is at the top. You can see it clearly. It is waiting. You're almost there. You are close. You reach the top of the hill. The light is here. Close. Bright. You stand before it. Let us talk about arrival, about reaching, about getting there, about the moment when the journey ends, when the destination is reached, when the goal is achieved. Arrival is supposed to be satisfying. It is supposed to be fulfilling. It is supposed to be the end, the resolution, the answer, the completion. But arrival is not always what we expect. Sometimes we arrive and realize the destination is not what we thought. Sometimes we arrive and realize we are in the wrong place. Sometimes we arrive and realize the journey was for nothing. Sometimes we arrive and realize we should have turned back. The will-o'-the-wisp promises arrival. It promises a destination. It promises an answer. But it does not always deliver. Often it does not deliver. Often arrival with the will-o'-the-wisp means arriving at the wrong place, at a dangerous place, at a place you should not be. You stand before the light. You have arrived. You are here. This is the destination. This is where the light has led you. You look around. You see the hill. You see the meadow below. You see the path you walked. You see the journey you took. You look at the light. It is still there. It is still glowing. It is still beautiful. But now that you are here, you realize something. You realize the light is just a light. It is not a person. It is not a spirit. It is not a guide. It is just a light, a phenomenon, a natural occurrence, a trick of the air, a reflection, a glow. And you realize something else. You realize you're not where you meant to be. You realize you're not where you should be. You realize the light has led you astray, just like the stories said it would. But you're not lost, not completely. You can see the path. You can see the way back. You can retrace your steps. You can return. You can go home, if you choose to. Soft fade. The hill fades. You're standing in darkness. Just you, just the night, just the silence. Let us talk about being alone, about solitude, about the moments when it is just you and your thoughts, just you and the world, just you and the night. Being alone is not always bad. Sometimes it is necessary. Sometimes it is good. Sometimes it is where we find ourselves, where we understand ourselves, where we come to terms with ourselves. The will-o'-the-wisp leads you to solitude. It leads you away from others, away from safety, away from the known. It leads you into the wilderness, into the night, into the empty places, into the quiet places, into the places where it is just you. And in that solitude you must decide. What do you do? Do you panic? Do you despair? Do you give up? Or do you think? Do you assess? Do you plan? Do you find your way? The will-o'-the-wisp is a test of solitude, a test of self-reliance, a test of inner strength, a test of resilience, a test of whether you can survive, whether you can thrive, whether you can find your way, whether you can go on. You stand in the darkness, you are alone, the light is gone, it has disappeared, it has left you, you are by yourself, and you must decide what to do next. Soft light begins to appear, not the will-o'-the-wisp, something else. The first light of dawn, the sky is beginning to change. Let us talk about dawn, about the morning, about the return of light, about the end of night, about the beginning of a new day. Dawn is hope. Dawn is renewal. Dawn is a fresh start. Dawn is a second chance. Dawn is a promise that the night does not last forever. That darkness is temporary. That light returns after the will-o'-the-wisp, after the wandering, after the being lost, after the solitude. Dawn comes, the real light, the true light, the light that does not deceive, the light that does not lie, the light that simply is. And in the light of dawn, you can see where you are, you can see the path, you can see the way home, you can see clearly, without illusion, without deception, without mystery. The will-o'-the-wisp loses its power in the daylight. It cannot compete, it cannot exist. It is a creature of the night, a creature of darkness, a creature of shadow. In the light of day, it is nothing. It is gone. It is forgotten. You stand in the growing light. The sky is pink, the sky is orange, the sky is gold. The sun is rising, the day is beginning, the night is ending. You can see now, you can see everything. The landscape becomes clear. You are on a hill. Below is a valley. Beyond the valley is a village, your home. The path is clear. Let us talk about home, about the place you belong, about the place you return to, about the place where you are safe, about the place where you are known, about the place where you are loved. Home is important. Home is grounding. Home is necessary. Home is where we start. Home is where we return. Home is the anchor. Home is the base. Home is the center. The will-o'-the-wisp takes us away from home. It leads us into the unknown, into the wilderness, into the darkness. But home is always there, always waiting, always ready, always welcoming. The journey with the will-o'-the-wisp is temporary. It is an interruption. It is a detour. It is a side path. But it is not the end. It is not the destination. It is not permanent. You can always go home. You can always return. You can always find your way back. If you choose to, if you remember, if you do not give up. You look at the valley. You look at the village. You look at home. It is there. It is real. It is waiting. You take a step forward. You begin to walk down the hill, through the valley, toward the village, toward home. The will-o'-the-wisp is behind you now. It is part of your past. It is part of your story. It is part of your journey. But it is not your future. It is not your destination. It is not your end. Soft fade. You are walking through the valley. The sun is rising higher. The light is warm. The air is fresh. You are going home. Let us talk about stories. About the tales we tell. About the legends we pass down. About the warnings we share. About the memories we keep. The will-o'-the-wisp is a story. It is a legend. It is a tale. It has been told for centuries, for millennia, in every culture, in every language, in every land. The details change, the names change, but the heart of the story stays the same. A light in the darkness, a traveller, a choice, a consequence. The story is important. Not because it is literally true, but because it contains truth. The truth about being careful, about paying attention, about not trusting everything you see, about questioning, about thinking, about being wise. The story is a gift from the past, a gift from our ancestors, a gift from the people who came before, a gift of knowledge, a gift of warning, a gift of wisdom. And now you are part of the story. You have walked with the will-o'-the-wisp. You have followed the light. You have been led astray. You have found your way back. You have learned. You have grown. You have changed. And maybe someday you will tell this story. You will share this tale. You will pass on this warning. You will give this gift to someone else, to someone who needs it. To someone who is about to follow a light in the darkness. You are in the valley now. The village is closer. You can see the houses. You can see the streets. You can see the people. They are waking up. They are starting their day. They are going about their lives. They do not know where you have been. They do not know what you have seen. They do not know what you have learned. But you know, and that is enough. The valley fades. The village appears. You're on the edge. The houses are close. The streets are familiar. You're almost home. Let us talk about return, about coming back, about arriving home after a journey, about the feeling of familiarity, about the feeling of safety, about the feeling of belonging. Return is bittersweet. Return is complicated. Return is not always simple, because you are not the same. The journey has changed you. The experience has changed you. The will-o'-the-wisp has changed you. You're wiser now. You're more careful now. You're more cautious now. You know things you did not know before. You understand things you did not understand before. You see things you did not see before. But you're also grateful. Grateful to be home. Grateful to be safe. Grateful to have returned. Grateful to have survived. Grateful to have learned. The will-o'-the-wisp gave you something, not what it promised, not what you expected, but something. It gave you a journey. It gave you an experience. It gave you a story. It gave you a lesson. It gave you wisdom. And now you are home, and you are different. And that is okay. That is good. That is growth. That is life. You walk through the village. The streets are waking up. The sun is higher now. The light is warm. The shadows are short. Everything is clear. Everything is real. Everything is true. You are home. Soft fade. You're standing in front of a house. Your house. The door is open. Someone is there, waiting, welcoming, smiling. Let us talk about welcome, about being received, about being accepted, about being embraced, about being loved. Welcome is powerful. Welcome is healing. Welcome is necessary. After a journey, after wandering, after being lost, after being alone. Welcome is what we need. The will-o'-the-wisp does not welcome. It does not embrace. It does not love. It simply leads. It simply moves. It simply exists. It is cold. It is distant. It is alone. But home welcomes. People welcome. Love welcomes. You are not alone. You are never truly alone, even in the darkness. Even in the wilderness, even when following the light, you were always connected, always part of something, always loved, and now you are back, and you are welcomed, and you are embraced, and you are home. You step through the door, the house is warm, the house is familiar, the house is safe. This is where you belong, this is where you're known, this is where you're loved. The will-o'-the-wisp is far away now. It is in the past, it is in the night, it is in the wilderness, it is still there, it is still glowing, it is still leading others, it is still part of the world, but it is not part of your world anymore. Not right now, not today. Today you are home. Today you are safe. Today you are welcomed, and that is enough. Soft fade. Now you are sitting by a window, looking out. The day is bright. The world is clear. You are thinking. Let us talk about reflection, about looking back, about thinking about what happened, about understanding the experience, about making sense of the journey. Reflection is important. Reflection is how we learn. Reflection is how we grow. Reflection is how we integrate experiences into our understanding, into our knowledge, into our wisdom. The will-o'-the-wisp journey was not just something that happened. It was something that means something. It was something that taught something. It was something that changed something. You sit by the window. You look out. You think about the night, about the light, about the path, about the choices, about the journey, about the arrival, about the return. You think about what you learned, about caution, about trust, about beauty, about deception, about solitude, about home, about yourself. The will-o'-the-wisp was a teacher, not a kind teacher, not a gentle teacher, but a teacher nonetheless. It taught by leading you astray. It taught by showing you danger. It taught by making you lost. It taught by making you find your way. And now you are wiser. You're more aware. You're more careful. You're more thoughtful. You're more yourself. You look out the window. The day is bright. The world is clear. There are no will-o'-the-wisps in daylight. There are no mysterious lights. There is only the sun, and the truth, and the world as it is. The window view fades. Evening approaches. The light begins to soften. You are still sitting, still thinking. Let us talk about memory, about remembering, about holding on to experiences, about keeping them with you, about letting them shape you, but not define you. Memory is how we carry the past. It is how we learn from what has happened. It is how we avoid making the same mistakes. It is how we honor our experiences. It is how we become who we are. The will-o'-the-wisp is now a memory. It is part of your past. It is part of your story. It is something that happened, something you experienced, something you survived, something you learned from, and you will remember it. Not every day, not every moment, but it will be there, in the back of your mind, a quiet presence, a gentle reminder, a subtle influence. When you see a light in the darkness, you will remember. When you face a choice, you will remember. When you feel tempted to follow something without thinking, you will remember. When you need to be careful, you will remember. The will-o'-the-wisp gave you this memory, this knowledge, this awareness, this wisdom. You sit as the evening approaches. The light is softer now. The day is ending. The night is coming. But you're not afraid. You're prepared. You're ready. You understand. Evening deepens. The room grows darker. A lamp is lit. Soft light fills the space. Warm, safe, real. Let us talk about different kinds of light. About the light that helps. About the light that guides. About the light that warms. About the light that protects. Not all lights are will-o'-the-wisps. Not all lights are deceptive. Not all lights lead you astray. Some lights are good. Some lights are true. Some lights are meant to be followed. The lamp in the room is such a light. It does not trick. It does not deceive. It does not lead anywhere except to comfort, to safety, to clarity. It is a simple light, an honest light, a helpful light. This is the difference. This is what you learned. Not all lights are the same. Some can be trusted. Some cannot. The challenge is knowing which is which. The challenge is discernment. The challenge is wisdom. The will-o'-the-wisp taught you to be careful with lights that appear in unexpected places, with lights that have no clear source, with lights that move mysteriously, with lights that promise without explaining, with lights that call to you from the darkness. But it also taught you to appreciate the lights that are honest, the lights that are clear, the lights that are meant to help, the lights like this lamp, like the sun, like the fires in the hearth, like the candles on the table. You sit in the warm light of the lamp. You are safe. You are home. You understand. The lamp glows steadily. Outside the window, the night has fully arrived. Darkness. But inside there is light. There is warmth. There is safety. Let us talk about the balance between light and dark, about how one defines the other, about how both are necessary, about how both are part of life. Without darkness, light has no meaning. Without light, darkness is all there is. They exist together. They define each other. They give each other context. They give each other purpose. The will-o'-the-wisp exists because of this balance. It exists in the darkness. It is visible because of the darkness. It has power because of the darkness. In full daylight, it has no power. It has no presence. It has no meaning. But in the darkness, it is significant. It is noticeable. It is powerful. It is mysterious. This is true of many things in life. Some things only matter in certain contexts. Some things only have power in certain situations. Some things are only dangerous in certain circumstances. The will-o'-the-wisp is dangerous at night, in the fog, in the marshes, in the wilderness, in the places where you cannot see clearly, in the places where you are vulnerable, in the places where you are alone, but in daylight, in clear weather, in safe places, in familiar territory, in the company of others. The will-o'-the-wisp has no power. It has no danger. It has no presence. You understand this now. You understand context. You understand that danger is not always absolute, that safety is not always absolute, that it depends on where you are, on when it is, on what you know, on who you are with. You sit in the warm light. Outside is darkness, but you're not in the darkness. You are in the light. You are safe. The scene gently shifts. You're lying down now, in bed. The lamp is dimmer. The room is quiet. You're preparing to sleep. Let us talk about sleep, about rest, about the daily return to darkness, about the daily surrender to the unknown, about trust. Sleep is interesting. Sleep is necessary. Sleep is something we do every night. We lie down. We close our eyes. We let go of consciousness. We enter darkness. We trust that we will wake up. This is a kind of faith, a kind of trust, a kind of surrender. We give ourselves over to the darkness, to the unknown, to the unconscious. We do this willingly. We do this every night. And we dream. In sleep, we dream. Strange things, mysterious things, things that do not make sense, things that are beautiful, things that are frightening, things that are neither, things that are both. Dreams are like will-o'-the-wisps in a way. They are lights in the darkness of sleep. They lead us places, strange places, unexpected places, sometimes frightening places, sometimes wonderful places, always mysterious places. And in the morning we wake, we return, we come back. We remember some of the dreams. We forget others, but we are changed by them, subtly, in ways we do not always understand, in ways we cannot always explain. Sleep is a journey, every night, a journey into darkness, a journey into the unknown, a journey into ourselves, and every morning is a return, a coming back, a waking up, a beginning again. You are lying down now. You're preparing for this journey, this nightly journey, this familiar journey, this necessary journey. You're not afraid. You trust. You know you will return. You know you will wake. You know you will be safe. The lamp is very dim now. The room is mostly dark. Your eyes are closed. You are drifting. You are at the edge of sleep. Let us talk about the edge, about the boundary, about the space between waking and sleeping, between consciousness and unconsciousness, between awareness and surrender. This is a liminal space, a threshold space, a space that is neither one thing nor the other, a space that is both, a space that is special, a space that is mysterious, a space that is sacred. The will-o'-the-wisp exists in liminal spaces too, between land and water, between solid and liquid, between earth and air, between the known and the unknown, between safety and danger, between here and there. Liminal spaces are powerful. They are transformative. They are where change happens, where transitions occur, where one thing becomes another, where you move from one state to another, where you're neither what you were nor what you will be, where you simply are. You're in a liminal space now, at the edge of sleep, not quite awake, not quite asleep, drifting, floating, letting go, holding on, both, neither, in between. This is a gentle space, a soft space, a safe space. There are no will-o'-the-wisps here, only rest, only peace, only the natural transition from waking to sleeping, from day to night, from activity to rest, From thinking to dreaming, you let yourself drift, you let yourself float, you let yourself cross the threshold, from waking to sleeping, from consciousness to dreams, from today to tonight, from now to rest. Complete darkness now, soft, warm, peaceful. You're asleep, or nearly so. The boundary is crossed, you're in sleep. In dreams, in rest. Let us talk about the deep places, about the places inside, about the places we go when we sleep, about the places we visit in dreams, about the landscapes of the unconscious. These places are vast, these places are strange, these places are familiar and unfamiliar at the same time. These places are yours, these places are universal, these places are personal, these places are shared. In these places you might see lights, dream lights, lights that move, lights that change, lights that mean something, or nothing, or everything. Dream lights are not will-o'-the-wisps, but they are related. They are cousins, they are kin, both are mysterious, both are alluring, both lead you places, both can be beautiful, both can be strange, both can be dangerous, both can be illuminating, both can be deceptive. But dream lights are yours. They come from you. They are created by you, by your mind, by your unconscious, by your experiences, by your memories, by your fears, by your hopes, by your imagination. And in dreams, you can follow these lights. You can see where they lead. You can learn from them. You can be changed by them. And if they lead you astray, if they take you somewhere frightening, somewhere dark, somewhere lost, you can wake up. You can return. You can come back. Dreams are safe will-o'-the-wisps. They are practice, they are rehearsal, they are exploration without real danger, they are journeys without real consequence, they are learning without real cost. You're in these deep places now, in sleep, in dreams, following your own inner lights, your own inner will-o'-the-wisps, learning, growing, changing, resting. Deep sleep, deep rest, deep peace. Time passes, the night continues, you sleep, you dream, you rest. Let us talk about the middle of the night, about the deepest dark, about the deepest sleep, about the furthest point from waking, about the most distant shore. This is when the will-o'-the-wisps are most powerful. This is when they appear most often. This is when they are most mysterious, most alluring, most dangerous, most themselves. In the middle of the night, the world is at its quietest, at its darkest, at its most still. This is when strange things happen, when strange things are seen, when strange things are felt, when strange things are experienced. But you are safe, you are sleeping, you are home, you are warm, you are loved. The will-o'-the-wisps are far away. They are in the marshes, they are in the forests, they are in the wild places. They are not here, they are not near you, they cannot reach you. You sleep on, you rest on. The night continues, time passes, the hours move, slowly, steadily, inevitably, toward morning, toward dawn, toward light, toward waking. The night is long, but it is not forever. The darkness is deep, but it is not permanent. The sleep is profound, but it will end. The rest is complete, but it will transition to waking, to light, to day, to consciousness. All things change. All things transition, all things move, from one state to another, from darkness to light, from sleep to waking, from night to day, from rest to activity. This is the rhythm of life, the cycle of existence, the pattern of being, night and day, dark and light, sleep and waking, rest and activity, again and again, forever and always. You're in the rhythm now. You're in the cycle, you're in the pattern. You are sleeping, you are resting, you are being, and soon you will wake. You will rise. You will begin again. But not yet. Not now. Now is for sleep. Now is for rest. Now is for peace. Now is for dreams. Now is for darkness. Gentle darkness. Safe darkness. Restful darkness. The darkness begins to lighten, very slightly, very gradually. The first hint of morning, still hours away, but coming. Always coming. Let us talk about cycles, about patterns, about the way things repeat, about the way things return, about the way things continue. The will-o'-the-wisp appears again and again, night after night, century after century, in the same places, to different people. The light glows, the traveller sees, the traveller follows, or does not follow. The story continues. Sleep comes again and again. Night after night, day after day, year after year, all our lives, we sleep, we wake, we sleep again, we wake again. The cycle continues, the seasons come again and again. Spring, summer, autumn, winter, spring again. The cycle continues, the sun rises and sets, again and again. Day after day, forever. The cycle continues. Life is cycles. Life is patterns. Life is repetition. Life is return. Things come and go and come again. Things appear and disappear and reappear. Things begin and end and begin again. The will-o'-the-wisp is part of this. It appears, it disappears, it appears again. Not the same light, but the same phenomenon, the same mystery, the same story, the same lesson, again and again. You are part of this too. You sleep, you wake, you sleep again. You wake again. You experience, you learn, you experience again, you learn again. You change, you grow, you continue, the cycles continue, the patterns repeat, the rhythms persist, life goes on. Night follows day, day follows night, sleep follows waking, waking follows sleep. The will-o'-the-wisp glows in the marsh, the sun rises in the east, the seasons change, the world turns. You are sleeping, you are part of the cycle, you are part of the pattern, you are part of the rhythm, you are resting now. Soon you will wake, but not yet, not now. Now you rest, now you sleep, now you are part of the great cycle, the eternal pattern, the endless rhythm of sleep and waking, of darkness and light, of rest and activity, of being. The darkness continues to lighten, the room begins to take shape very faintly, the window becomes visible, a lighter rectangle in the dark. Dawn is approaching, slowly, gently, inevitably. Let us talk about anticipation, about knowing what is coming, about the feeling before something happens, about the moment before change, about the pause before transition. Dawn is coming. You can feel it, even in sleep, even in darkness. There is a quality to the late night, to the early morning, a sense that something is about to change, that something is about to happen, that darkness is about to give way to light. The will-o'-the-wisps can feel it too. If they feel anything, if they are aware of anything, their time is ending, their power is waning, their moment is passing. Soon they will be invisible, soon they will be irrelevant, soon they will be gone, until tomorrow night, until the next darkness, until the next fog, until the next traveller. Then they will return, they will glow again, they will lead again. They will be themselves again. But for now, for these last moments of night, they glow in the marshes, they flicker in the forests, they hover over the water, they wait, they exist, they are. You are waiting too, in sleep, in rest. Your time of waking is coming, your time of rising is near, your time of beginning again is approaching. You can sense it, even in sleep, even in rest. The body knows, the mind knows, the spirit knows. Soon you will wake, soon you will open your eyes, soon you will return to consciousness, soon you will begin again. But not yet, not quite yet. These last moments of sleep are precious. These last moments of rest are important. These last moments of darkness are sacred. Hold them, keep them, honour them, rest in them, be in them. They will not last, they cannot last, but they are here now, and that is enough. The window grows lighter, the room becomes more visible, shapes emerge from darkness. The bed, the walls, the door, the lamp, everything is grey, soft grey, gentle grey, the grey before colour returns. Let us talk about the grey time, about the in-between time, about the not quite night and not quite day time, about the liminal time, about the threshold time. This is a special time, a magical time, a mysterious time, a time when anything seems possible, when the rules are not quite fixed, when the boundaries are not quite firm, when one thing can become another, when transformation happens. This is when the will-o'-the-wisps are most ambiguous. Are they still glowing? Are they already gone? Are they lights? Are they shadows? Are they real? Are they imagined? In the grey time it is hard to tell. Everything is uncertain. Everything is unclear. Everything is both and neither. You're in the grey time too. Are you sleeping? Are you waking? Are you dreaming? Are you conscious? Are you resting? Are you stirring? In the grey time, you're all of these. You are none of these. You're in between. The grey time does not last long. It cannot. It is transitional by nature. It exists only to connect, to bridge, to span the gap between night and day, between sleep and waking, between darkness and light. But while it lasts, it is special. It is unique. It is itself. The grey time is when poets write, when artists paint, when dreamers dream, when the veil is thin, when the possible meets the actual, when the inner meets the outer, when magic exists. You float in the grey time, you hover in it, you exist in it, not asleep, not awake, not quite anything, just being, just experiencing, just present, in the grey, in the in-between, in the threshold. The grey brightens, colours begin to appear, muted colours, soft colours, the blue of the blanket, the brown of the wood, the white of the walls. Dawn is here, or nearly here. The sun is rising, or about to rise. Let us talk about transitions, about change, about movement from one state to another, about the moment of shift, about the instant of transformation. Transitions are powerful. Transitions are significant. Transitions are when things happen, when change occurs, when the old becomes new, when the past becomes present, when one chapter ends and another begins. The transition from night to day is one of the great transitions. It happens every day. We see it every day. We experience it every day, and yet it never loses its power. It never loses its magic. It never loses its significance. Every dawn is a rebirth. Every sunrise is a renewal. Every morning is a fresh start, a new beginning, a chance to try again, to do better, to be better, to live better. The will-o'-the-wisps fade in this transition. They cannot survive it. They cannot exist in it. They are creatures of darkness, of night, of shadow. The dawn is not their time. The day is not their place. They must wait. They must hide. They must retreat until night returns, until darkness falls, until their time comes again. But you thrive in this transition. You are made for it. You are built for it. This is your time, the time of waking, the time of rising, the time of beginning. This is when you come alive, when you engage, when you participate, when you act. The transition is happening now. The shift is occurring now. The change is here now. You can feel it. You can sense it. You can know it. It is time. It is time to wake. It is time to rise. It is time to begin again. The room is bright now. Not full daylight yet, but close. The sun is just below the horizon. The sky outside is pink, orange, gold, beautiful. The colours of dawn, the colours of hope, the colours of new beginnings. Let us talk about beauty, about the beauty of natural things, about the beauty of simple things, about the beauty of daily things, about things we see so often we forget to notice them, but they are beautiful nonetheless. Dawn is beautiful. Every dawn is beautiful, even cloudy dawns, even rainy dawns, even cold dawns. There is always beauty in the transition from dark to light, from night to day, from sleep to waking. The will-o'-the-wisp has a kind of beauty too, a strange beauty, a mysterious beauty, a dangerous beauty. The beauty of things that are not quite understood, not quite explained, not quite known. But the beauty of dawn is different. It is open beauty, honest beauty, clear beauty. It hides nothing. It deceives no one. It simply is beautiful, true, real. You can see this beauty now, even with closed eyes, even in the last moments of sleep. You can sense it. You can feel it. The light on your eyelids, the warmth beginning, the world waking up, the day beginning. It is beautiful. It is simple. It is real. It is true. It is yours. You stir slightly, you're waking, slowly, gently, naturally. the way waking should be, without alarm, without shock, without rush, just the gentle return of consciousness, the soft emergence into the day. The gradual opening of awareness. Your eyes open, slowly. The room comes into focus, familiar, safe, home. The light is soft, the morning is quiet, the world is peaceful. Let us talk about waking, about opening your eyes, about returning to consciousness, about coming back, about beginning again. Waking is a small miracle. Every time we close our eyes in one world, we open them in the same world, but it feels different, fresh, new, renewed, as if the night has cleaned it, refreshed it, restored it. The will-o'-the-wisp cannot experience this. It has no consciousness to lose and regain. It has no sleep to wake from. It simply exists when conditions are right, and does not exist when they are not. It knows no transition, no journey, no return. But you know these things. You experience these things. You are experiencing them now. The return, the waking, the beginning again, and it feels good. It feels right. It feels natural. You lie there for a moment, not moving, just being, just experiencing, just existing in this moment, in this morning, in this waking. You are here, you are present, you are alive. The night is over, the sleep is done, the rest is complete. You are ready, ready for the day, ready for life, ready for whatever comes. The will-o'-the-wisp is far away, in memory, in story, in the past. It taught you things, important things, valuable things, but now it is time for other things, for waking things, for daylight things, for living things. You sit up, slowly. The blankets fall away. Your feet touch the floor, cool, solid, real. You stand, you stretch, your body wakes, your muscles engage, your awareness expands. Let us talk about the body. About physical existence, about being in a body, about the weight of it, the substance of it, the reality of it. The will-o'-the-wisp has no body. It is light, pure light, or gas, or energy, or something in between. It is insubstantial, weightless, formless. In a way, it is free, but in another way, it is limited. It cannot touch, it cannot feel, it cannot experience the physical world. You have a body, you are a body. You experience the world through it, through your skin, through your muscles, through your senses, through your nerves. You feel the floor beneath your feet, the air on your skin, the stretch in your muscles, the breath in your lungs. This is grounding. This is anchoring. This is real. This is what the will-o'-the-wisp cannot give you, cannot take from you, cannot touch. Your physical existence, your embodied reality. Your actual presence in the actual world. You stand. You are here. You are real. You are solid. You are substantial. You are present. You are awake. You are alive. The night of following the will-o'-the-wisp was a journey of the mind, of the imagination, of the spirit. But now you are back in the body, back in the physical, back in the real. And it feels good. It feels right. It feels necessary. You walk to the window. You look out. The day is beginning. The sun is rising. The world is waking, and you are part of it. Not separate, not apart, not lost. Part of it. Connected. Belonging. Here. At the window you look out. The village is waking. Smoke rises from chimneys. Doors open. People emerge. Life continues. The day begins. Let us talk about community, about other people, about connection, about being part of something larger than yourself, about not being alone. The will-o'-the-wisp is alone, always alone. It exists in isolation, in empty places, in wild places, in places where people are not. It has no companions, no friends, no community. It is singular, solitary, separate. This is part of what makes it dangerous. It calls you away from community, away from people, away from connection. It leads you into isolation, into solitude, into aloneness. And in that aloneness, you are vulnerable, you are at risk, you are in danger. But here, looking out at the village, you see the opposite. You see community, you see connection, you see people. living together, working together, existing together, not perfectly, not without problems, but together nonetheless. This is safety. This is strength. This is what the will-o'-the-wisp cannot offer, cannot provide, cannot create: connection, belonging, community. You watch the village wake. You see your neighbors, your friends, your family, the people you know, the people who know you, the people who would look for you if you were lost, who would call for you if you did not return, who would welcome you when you came back. This is what saves you from the will-o'-the-wisp. Not knowledge, not cleverness, not strength, but connection, belonging, having people who care, having a place to return to, having a reason to find your way back. You're not alone. You never were, even in the darkest night, even when following the light, even when lost. You were not alone. You had this village, this community, this home. You turn from the window, you dress, you prepare for the day. Simple tasks, familiar tasks, grounding tasks, the rituals of morning, the routines of waking, the habits of living. Let us talk about ritual, about routine, about the small repeated actions that give shape to our days, that give structure to our lives, that give meaning to our existence. Rituals are important, routines matter, not because they are exciting, not because they are dramatic, but because they are consistent, reliable, dependable. They are there every day, unchanged, unchanging, steady. The will-o'-the-wisp is the opposite of ritual. It is unpredictable, unreliable, inconsistent. It appears when it wants, where it wants, how it wants. It follows no schedule, no pattern, no routine. It is chaos, mystery, uncertainty. This is exciting in its way, but it is not sustainable. We cannot live in constant uncertainty. In constant mystery, in constant chaos, we need structure, we need routine, we need ritual, we need the daily repeated actions that tell us who we are, where we are, what we're doing. You perform your morning rituals now, washing, dressing, preparing. Simple things, small things, things you do every day, things you have done countless times, things you will do countless times more. These things ground you, these things anchor you, these things remind you that you are real, that your life is real, that the world is real, that yesterday happened, that today is happening, that tomorrow will happen. The will-o'-the-wisp exists outside of time in a way. It has no yesterday, no today, no tomorrow. It simply is, when it is, and is not, when it is not. It has no continuity, no history, no future, only the eternal now of its glowing. But you have continuity, you have history, you have future, you have yesterday and today and tomorrow, you have memories and plans, you have past and present and future, you have time, you have life, you have story. And this morning is part of that story. This waking is part of that story. These rituals are part of that story. The ongoing story of your life, the continuing narrative of your existence, the unfolding tale of who you are. You're ready now, dressed, prepared, awake. You move toward the door, toward the day, toward life. You pause, you take a breath, you smile slightly. You are ready. Let us talk about readiness, about preparation, about being ready to face what comes, about having what you need, about being who you need to be. The will-o'-the-wisp makes you unready. It leads you away from preparation, away from resources, away from tools, away from help. It leads you into the wild with nothing. No supplies, no knowledge, no companions, just you and the light and the darkness. This is part of the danger, not just the physical danger of marshes and cliffs, but the danger of being unprepared, of facing challenges without resources, of encountering problems without solutions, of being lost without a map. But now you are ready, you are prepared, you are equipped, not for everything. No one can be ready for everything, but for the day, for the normal challenges, for the expected difficulties, for the usual tasks. You have slept, you have rested, you have recovered. You have your strength, your energy, your focus. You have your clothes, your tools, your resources. You have your home, your community, your connections. You have learned from the will-o'-the-wisp. You have gained wisdom, you have increased understanding, you have grown. You are not the same person who followed the light. You are wiser, more cautious, more aware, more yourself. And this is readiness. Not having everything, but having enough. Not knowing everything, but knowing what matters. Not being perfect, but being prepared. Not being fearless, but being ready. You open the door opens, light floods in. Fresh air, morning air, the smell of dew and grass and smoke and life. You step out, into the day, into the world, into your life. Let us talk about thresholds, about doorways, about the moments of crossing from inside to outside, from private to public, from personal to communal, from home to world. Thresholds are powerful, doorways are significant, they mark transitions, they signify change, they represent movement. From one space to another, from one state to another, from one way of being to another way of being. The will-o'-the-wisp led you across thresholds too, from safety to danger, from known to unknown, from home to wilderness, from clarity to confusion. These were dangerous crossings, risky transitions, perilous movements. But this threshold is different. This doorway is safe. This crossing is good. You are moving from home to world, but you can return, from private to public, but you can retreat, from rest to activity, but you can rest again. This threshold goes both ways. This door opens and closes. This crossing can be reversed. You step through the doorway, you cross the threshold, you enter the world, and it welcomes you. The morning welcomes you. The day welcomes you. The life welcomes you. You belong here. You fit here. You are meant to be here. The will-o'-the-wisp called you to places where you did not belong, to marshes where humans should not walk, to forests where travellers should not wander, to darkness where light should not be followed. But here, in this village, in this day, in this life, you belong. This is your place. These are your people. This is your time. You walk forward, into the morning, into the day, into your story, continuing, ongoing, unfolding, living. You walk through the village. People greet you. You greet them back. Simple greetings, morning greetings, the ordinary exchanges of ordinary people living ordinary lives, and it is beautiful. Let us talk about the ordinary, about the common, about the everyday, about the unremarkable, about the simple, normal things that fill our lives, and about how precious they are. The will-o'-the-wisp is extraordinary. It is unusual. It is remarkable. It is special. It is something you do not see every day, something rare, something unique, something noteworthy. And because of this, it is captivating. It is fascinating. It is alluring. We are drawn to the extraordinary, to the unusual, to the remarkable. We want to see it, to experience it, to understand it. We want to follow it, to chase it, to capture it. But the ordinary is precious too, perhaps more precious, because it is reliable, because it is sustainable, because it is what we live in, what we exist in, what we build our lives on. The ordinary is this morning, these greetings, these neighbours, this village, this day. Nothing extraordinary, nothing unusual, nothing remarkable, just normal life, ordinary existence, common experience, and it is enough. It is more than enough. It is everything. This is what the will-o'-the-wisp cannot give you, cannot provide, cannot create. This ordinary, beautiful, simple, precious life. You walk and greet and are greeted. You smile and nod and wave. You belong. You fit. You are part of this, part of the ordinary, part of the common, part of the everyday, and it feels right. It feels good. It feels true. The will-o'-the-wisp offered you the extraordinary, but what you really needed was this, the ordinary, the common, the everyday, the normal, the simple, the real. You reach a small square, the centre of the village, a well, some benches, a few trees. People are gathering, starting their day, beginning their work, living their lives. Let us talk about centres, about gathering places, about the spaces where community happens, where people meet, where connections are made, where life is lived together. Every community has centres, places where people come together, where paths cross, where stories are shared, where news is exchanged, where relationships are built and maintained. The will-o'-the-wisp has no centre. It exists on the edges, on the margins, on the boundaries, between land and water, between forest and field, between safety and danger. It is never at the centre, always at the edge. This is significant. This tells you something. The will-o'-the-wisp is not about community. not about connection, not about gathering. It is about separation, about isolation, about moving away from the center, away from people, away from connection. But here you are at the center, at the gathering place, at the heart of the community, with people, with connection, with belonging. This is the opposite of the will-o'-the-wisp. This is the antidote to it. This is what saves you from it. You stand in the square. You are seen. You are known. You are recognized. People know your name. They know your face. They know your story. And you know theirs. This is connection. This is community. This is home. The will-o'-the-wisp wanted to lead you away from this. Away from the center. Away from community. Away from connection. Into isolation. Into solitude. Into danger. But you did not stay there. You came back. You returned. You found your way to the center again. And now you are here. And you are safe. And you are home. The day continues. Work begins. Tasks are undertaken. Life proceeds. You participate. You engage. You contribute. You are part of it all. Let us talk about work. About effort. About contribution. About being useful. About adding value. About playing your part. Work is important, not because it defines us, but because it connects us. When we work, we contribute, we give, we add to the common good, we play our part in the community, we are useful, we matter, we belong. The will-o'-the-wisp does no work. It produces nothing, it contributes nothing, it simply exists, it simply glows, it simply is, it takes but does not give. It attracts but does not support. It calls but does not help. This is another reason it is dangerous. It offers nothing real, nothing substantial, nothing useful, only light, only mystery, only illusion. It cannot feed you, cannot shelter you, cannot warm you, cannot help you. It can only lead you, and usually it leads you astray. But work is real. Work is substantial. Work is useful. When you work, you create something, you produce something, you contribute something, you make the world slightly better, slightly more, slightly richer. You engage in your work now, whatever it is, farming, building, teaching, healing, making, fixing, creating, helping, whatever your contribution is, you make it, you do it, you give it, and in giving you receive purpose, you receive meaning, you receive connection, you receive belonging. You receive the satisfaction of knowing you matter. You contribute. You are useful. You are valued. The will-o'-the-wisp offers none of this. Only the false promise of something better somewhere else. Only the illusion of meaning in the mysterious light. Only the deception of purpose in following the unknown. But here, in your work, in your contribution, in your participation, you find real meaning. Real purpose. Real value. And it is enough. It is more than enough. It is everything. The morning progresses, the sun rises higher, the day warms, life continues, you continue, present, engaged, alive. Let us talk about presence, about being here, about being now, about being fully in this moment, in this place, in this experience, in this life. Presence is difficult. Our minds wander, they drift, they think about the past, about the future, about other places, about other times, about other possibilities. We are rarely fully here, fully now, fully present. The will-o'-the-wisp is the opposite of presence. It is about distraction, about being pulled away, about focusing on something distant, something mysterious, something not here. It draws your attention away from where you are. It makes you think about where it might lead, about what it might be, about what might happen if you follow. This is dangerous, not just because it leads to physical danger, but because it takes you out of presence, out of here, out of now. It makes you forget where you are, what you're doing, who you are with. It makes you absent, even while you're still physically present. But today you practice presence. You are here, you are now, you are in this moment, in this place, in this experience. You're not thinking about the will-o'-the-wisp, not dwelling on the past, not worrying about the future. You're simply here, now, present. And in this presence, you find peace, you find calm, you find satisfaction, you find life, real life, actual life, the life that is happening right now, right here, in this moment. This is what the will-o'-the-wisp tried to steal from you, this presence. This moment, this now, it tried to pull you away into the future, into possibility, into mystery, away from what is real and present and actual. But you are here now, you are present now, you are living now, and that is everything. Midday approaches, the sun is high, the day is full, the world is bright, there are no shadows, no mysteries, no hidden things. Everything is clear, everything is visible, everything is known. Let us talk about clarity, about seeing clearly, about understanding fully, about knowing truly, about living in the light. Clarity is a gift. It is precious. It is rare. Most of the time we see through fog, through confusion, through uncertainty. We do not fully understand. We do not completely know. We are always partially in the dark. But sometimes, on days like this, we have clarity. We see clearly. We understand fully. We know truly. The fog lifts, the confusion clears, the uncertainty resolves. We are in the light. We can see. The will-o'-the-wisp is the opposite of clarity. It is confusion. It is mystery. It is uncertainty. It thrives in fog, in darkness, in shadow. It cannot exist in full daylight, in complete clarity, in total visibility. It needs the obscure, the hidden, the unclear. This tells you something important. The will-o'-the-wisp is not truth. It is not clarity. It is not understanding. It is illusion. It is confusion. It is deception. It wants you in the dark, in the fog, in the uncertainty. Because there it has power. There it can lead you. There you will follow. But in clarity it has no power. In light it has no presence. In understanding it has no influence. When you can see clearly, you can see that the will-o'-the-wisp is just a light, just a phenomenon, just a natural occurrence. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing to follow, nothing to fear. You stand in the midday sun. Everything is clear. Everything is visible. Everything is known. You can see your life, your choices, your path. You can see what matters, what is real, what is true. The will-o'-the-wisp is far away, invisible in daylight, powerless in clarity, irrelevant in understanding. It is still there, in the marsh, in the forest, waiting for night, waiting for fog, waiting for darkness. But it has no power here, no influence here, no presence here. You are in the light, you are in the clarity, you are in the truth, and you are safe. The afternoon arrives, work continues, life proceeds, the day unfolds, hour by hour, moment by moment, breath by breath. Living. Let us talk about time, about the passage of it, about the movement of it, about the flow of it, about how it carries us from past through present into future. Always moving, always flowing, always going. Time is strange. Sometimes it moves quickly, sometimes slowly, sometimes it feels like forever, sometimes like an instant, but it always moves. It never stops. It never pauses. It never waits. The will-o'-the-wisp exists outside of normal time in a way. It appears, it disappears. It has no timeline, no schedule, no progression. It is not building toward anything, not developing into anything, not moving toward any goal. It simply is when it is and is not when it is not. But you exist in time. You move through time. You are carried by time. You age in time. You grow in time. You change in time. Your story unfolds in time. Your life develops in time. Your existence progresses in time. This is both blessing and curse. The blessing is growth, is development, is change, is becoming. The curse is loss, is aging, is ending, is mortality. But it is the human condition. It is what we are. Beings in time, creatures of time, subjects of time. We cannot escape it. We cannot stop it. We can only live in it, move through it, make the most of it. You live in time now, this afternoon, these hours, these moments. They are passing, they are going. They will not come again. This specific afternoon, this specific day, this specific moment. Once it is gone forever. This makes it precious. This makes it valuable. This makes it important. Not because anything extraordinary is happening, but because it is happening. It is here. It is now. It is real. And it will never be again. The will-o'-the-wisp offers escape from time. It offers the eternal now of its glowing, the timeless moment of mystery. But it is false. It is illusion. Time still passes. Time still flows. Following the will-o'-the-wisp does not stop time. It only wastes it. Better to be here, in time, in this moment, in this day, living it, experiencing it, being in it, fully, completely, presently. The afternoon passes, time flows, life continues, and you are in it, part of it, living it, and that is good, that is right, that is true. Evening approaches, the sun begins to descend, shadows lengthen, the light softens, the air cools, the day begins to end. Let us talk about endings, about conclusions, about the closing of things, about finishing, about completing, about moving toward rest. Every day ends. Every experience concludes. Every story finishes. This is natural. This is right. This is necessary. We cannot have perpetual day. We cannot have endless activity. We cannot have infinite beginnings. We need endings. We need conclusions. We need rest. The will-o'-the-wisp seems to offer no ending. It glows endlessly through the night. It exists year after year, century after century. It seems eternal, endless, forever. But this is illusion. The will-o'-the-wisp ends too. Every night ends. Every glowing ends. When dawn comes, the will-o'-the-wisp disappears. Its time ends. Its presence ends. Its power ends. Until the next night, the next darkness, the next fog. Everything ends. Everything concludes. Everything finishes. This is not sad. This is not bad. This is simply true. And it makes everything more precious. If things lasted forever, they would not matter. It is because they end that they have value. It is because they conclude that they have meaning. It is because they finish that they are important. This day is ending now. This specific day, with its specific experiences, its specific moments, its specific events. It will never come again. Tomorrow will be a different day, with different experiences, different moments, different events. But this day was good. This day was full. This day was lived. And now it is ending. And that is okay. That is right. That is natural. You watch the sun descend. You feel the air cool. You see the shadows lengthen. The day is ending. And you are grateful. Grateful for the day. Grateful for the experiences. Grateful for the life. Grateful for the ending. Because the ending makes room for rest, for renewal, for tomorrow. The sun touches the horizon. The sky begins to colour. Pink, orange, red, gold. The colours of sunset. The colours of ending. The colours of transition. Let us talk about transition again. About movement between states. About the space between. About endings that are also beginnings. About conclusions that are also preparations. Sunset is an ending. The day is finishing. The light is fading. Activity is ceasing. But sunset is also a beginning. The evening is starting. The night is approaching. Rest is coming. It is both. It is neither. It is transition. The will-o'-the-wisp lives in transitions, in the spaces between water and land, between safety and danger, between known and unknown. It is a creature of boundaries, of edges, of thresholds. But this transition is different. This sunset is natural. It is healthy. It is good. It is not leading you astray. It is not deceiving you. It is not calling you into danger. It is simply the natural end of day, the healthy transition to night, the good movement toward rest. You watch the sunset. It is beautiful. Every sunset is beautiful. The colours, the light, the gradual fading, the gentle transition. It is a gift, a daily gift, a reminder that endings can be beautiful, that transitions can be gentle, that change can be peaceful. The will-o'-the-wisp will appear soon. When full darkness comes, when the fog rises, when the night is complete, it will glow again, it will call again, it will try to lead again, but you will not follow. You know better now. You understand now. You have learned. You will admire it from a distance. You will acknowledge its beauty. You will respect its mystery. But you will not follow. You will stay on your path. You will remain in your home. You will rest in your bed. You will be safe. Because you have learned. You have grown. You have changed. The will-o'-the-wisp taught you, and you are grateful for the lesson, but you do not need to repeat it. Once was enough. Once was plenty. Once was sufficient. The sun slips below the horizon. The direct light is gone, but the sky still glows. Indirect light, reflected light, the light of twilight, the light of the in-between time. Let us talk about twilight, about the gloaming, about the time between day and night, about the time when it is neither light nor dark, about the liminal time, about the threshold time, about the magical time. Twilight is special, it is different, it is unique, it is not day, it is not night, it is both, it is neither, it is itself. It has its own quality, its own character, its own feeling. This is when the will-o'-the-wisp begins to have power again, when the light is uncertain, when visibility is limited, when shadows are long, when the world is ambiguous, when things are unclear. This is when the light in the marsh can be seen, can be noticed, can be followed. But you are home now, you're inside now, you're safe now. You can watch the twilight from your window. You can appreciate its beauty. You can enjoy its mystery. But you do not need to be in it. You do not need to wander in it. You do not need to risk in it. Twilight is beautiful from here, from safety, from home, from inside. The colours in the sky, the quality of the light, the feeling of transition, all beautiful, all appreciated, all enjoyed, but from a distance, from safety, from wisdom. You're learning balance. You're learning to appreciate danger from safety, to enjoy mystery from understanding, to admire the unknown from the known. You do not need to enter danger to appreciate it. You do not need to embrace confusion to respect it. You can observe from a distance, can appreciate from safety, can learn without risk. This is maturity. This is wisdom. This is growth. Not the inability to take risks, but the ability to choose which risks to take, to know when to venture and when to stay, when to explore and when to remain, when to follow and when to stay still. You watch the twilight. It is beautiful. The will-o'-the-wisp is probably glowing somewhere. But you do not need to see it. Do not need to find it. Do not need to follow it. You have learned what it had to teach. You have gained what it had to give. Now you can rest. Full darkness arrives. The stars appear. The moon rises. The night is here, complete, full, deep. But you are inside. You are home. You are safe. Let us talk about safety, about protection, about shelter, about being secure, about being protected, about being defended against danger. Safety is a basic need. We all need it. We cannot thrive without it. We cannot truly rest without it. We cannot be fully ourselves without it. Safety is foundational, essential, necessary. The will-o'-the-wisp threatens safety. It calls you into danger, into risk, into peril. It leads you away from shelter, away from protection, away from security, into the open, into the wild, into the dangerous places. But here you are safe. The walls protect you. The roof shelters you. The door secures you. You are inside. You are enclosed. You are defended. The will-o'-the-wisp cannot reach you here, cannot call you here, cannot affect you here. This is one of the lessons. Safety matters. Protection matters. Shelter matters. Not because you should never take risks, but because you need a secure base, a safe place, a protected space from which to operate, to which to return, in which to rest. You cannot live in constant danger, in constant risk, in constant peril. That is not life. That is not sustainable. That is not healthy. You need safety. You need shelter. You need home. And you have it. Here, now, tonight. The will-o'-the-wisp glows in the marsh. But you're here, in safety, in shelter, in home. And that is good. That is right. That is wise. You have learned to value safety, not to avoid all risk, but to appreciate protection, to honor shelter. To respect the walls that keep danger out, the roof that keeps harm away, the door that stands between you and the wild. Safety is not cowardice, it is wisdom. It is not weakness, it is strength. It is not limitation, it is foundation. It is the place from which all else proceeds, the base from which all exploration begins, the home to which all journeys return. You prepare for sleep again, the rituals of evening, the routines of rest, the habits of bedtime, familiar, comforting, grounding. Let us talk about cycles returning, about patterns repeating, about rhythms continuing, about the way life circles back, about the way we return to familiar places, familiar activities, familiar states. Here you are again, preparing for sleep, just as you did last night, just as you will tomorrow night. The same rituals, the same routines, the same preparation. It is repetitive, it is familiar, it is comfortable. This is the opposite of the will-o'-the-wisp. The will-o'-the-wisp offers novelty, uniqueness, difference, something new, something strange, something you have never experienced. It promises escape from the repetitive, from the familiar, from the comfortable. But there is wisdom in repetition. There is value in familiarity. There is comfort in the known. The cycles sustain us, the patterns support us, the rhythms carry us. We need them. We depend on them. We thrive in them. The will-o'-the-wisp offers escape. But escape is not always what we need. Often what we need is return. Return to the familiar. Return to the comfortable. Return to the known. Return to home. Return to rest. Return to ourselves. You perform your evening rituals. They are the same as always. And that is good. That is right. That is comforting. In a world of constant change, of constant flux, of constant uncertainty. These small, unchanging rituals are anchors, are stabilizers, are reminders that some things remain, some things persist, some things continue. Tomorrow night you will do this again, and the night after, and the night after that. The same rituals, the same routines, the same patterns, and each time they will comfort you, support you, ground you, remind you who you are, where you are, what is real. The will-o'-the-wisp offers one kind of experience, novelty, mystery, adventure. But these rituals offer another, stability, comfort, home. Both have value, both have their place, but for everyday life, for sustainable existence, for long-term thriving, the rituals matter more. You lie down, the lamp is dimmed. The room is quiet, you're preparing for sleep, again, the daily journey into rest, into darkness, into dreams. Let us talk about surrender again, about letting go, about releasing control, about trusting, about allowing sleep to come. Every night we do this. We surrender, we let go, we release, we trust, we allow. We cannot force sleep, we cannot make it happen. We can only allow it, invite it, welcome it, and trust that it will come. The will-o'-the-wisp asks for a different kind of surrender. It asks you to surrender your direction, your judgment, your autonomy, to follow, to trust the light, to go where it leads. This is dangerous surrender, unwise surrender, risky surrender. But the surrender to sleep is different. It is natural, it is healthy, it is necessary. Your body needs it, your mind needs it, your spirit needs it. And so you surrender, every night, willingly, gratefully, peacefully. You lie in the darkness, you feel your body relax, your mind slow, your awareness dim. You're letting go, you're releasing, you're surrendering to sleep, to rest, to the natural rhythm of consciousness and unconsciousness, of waking and sleeping, of day and night. This is good surrender, wise surrender, necessary surrender, not the surrender to the will-o'-the-wisp, not the surrender to temptation, not the surrender to danger, but the surrender to nature, to necessity, to health, to life. You trust, you allow, you let go. Sleep is coming, you can feel it. It is near, it is approaching. Soon you will be asleep, soon you will be resting, soon you will be dreaming. And in the morning you will wake, you will return, you will begin again. The cycle continues. The pattern persists, the rhythm goes on. Sleep, wake, sleep again, day, night, day, again. Activity, rest, activity again. This is life. This is existence. This is the way of things, and it is good, and it is right, and it is enough. You're drifting now, floating, at the edge of sleep, the liminal space, the threshold, the in-between, almost asleep, not quite awake, transitioning, changing, moving from one state to another. Let us talk about repetition with difference, about how each cycle is the same but different, about how each day is like the last but unique, about how patterns repeat but never exactly. This sleep will be like last night's sleep, but different. The same activity, the same process, the same general experience, but different dreams, different depth, different quality, similar but unique, familiar but new. This is the nature of cycles. They repeat, but never exactly. They return, but always changed. They continue, but always developing. The sun rises every day, but each sunrise is different. Each sunset is unique. Each day is itself. The will-o'-the-wisp appears every night, but in different places, different intensities, different durations. It repeats, but never exactly. It continues, but always varying. And your life is like this too, each day like the last, but different. Each experience familiar, but unique. Each moment similar to others, but itself. Never exactly repeated, never precisely the same. Always similar, always different. This is beautiful. This is rich. This is deep. If everything were exactly the same, life would be monotonous. If everything were completely different, life would be chaotic. But this balance, this repetition with variation, this similarity with difference, this is perfect. This is right. This is life. You drift towards sleep. This specific sleep, like yesterday's, like tomorrow's, but itself, unique, unrepeatable. Once it is past, it is gone forever. This specific sleep, this specific rest, this specific dream, only once, only now, only this. And so even in repetition there is uniqueness. Even in familiarity there is novelty. Even in the comfortable patterns there is subtle change. Life is both constant and changing, stable and developing, same and different, always. Sleep comes, gently, softly, naturally. You're asleep, resting, dreaming. The day is done, the night has arrived, tomorrow awaits, but for now there is only rest, only peace, only sleep. Rest now. The story of the will-o'-the-wisp continues. Somewhere, in some marsh, in some forest, in some fog, the light glows, the mystery persists, the legend endures. It has been there for centuries. It will be there for centuries more. Glowing, flickering, moving, calling, leading, teaching, and people will see it. Some will follow, some will resist, some will be led astray, some will find their way, some will learn, some will forget, some will tell stories, some will keep silent. The will-o'-the-wisp will affect them all, in its way, as it has affected you. But you are sleeping now, you are resting now, you're safe now. The will-o'-the-wisp is far away, its lesson learned, its gift received, its warning heeded. You are home, you're protected, you're loved, you're enough. Sleep deeply, rest completely, dream peacefully. Tomorrow will come, the sun will rise, the day will begin. You will wake, you will rise, you will live. Again, as you have done, as you will do, as you're meant to do. The cycles continue, the patterns persist, the rhythms go on, day and night, light and dark, waking and sleeping, activity and rest, life and death and life again, forever, always, endlessly, and you are part of it, part of the great cycle, the eternal pattern, the endless rhythm. You belong, you fit, you are needed, you matter, you are important, you are loved. Rest in this knowledge, sleep in this peace, dream in this comfort. You are home, you are safe, you are enough. The will-o'-the-wisp glows in the distance, a light in the darkness, a mystery in the night, a legend in the fog. But it cannot reach you here, cannot touch you here, cannot affect you here. You are protected, you are surrounded, You are loved. Sleep now. Rest now. Peace now. The story ends, the night deepens, the sleep completes. Good night. Sleep well. Dream beautifully. You're safe. You are home. You are loved. Rest. Sleep. Peace. Complete darkness. Complete silence. Complete rest. Sleep. Deep sleep. Peaceful sleep. The kind of sleep that heals. The kind of rest that restores. The kind of peace that renews. And far away, in a marsh, in a forest, in a field, in the fog, the will-o'-the-wisp glows, quiet, patient, eternal, waiting for tomorrow night, for another traveller, for another story, always there, always glowing, always teaching, the eternal light, the ancient mystery, the timeless legend, the will-o'-the-wisp.